Welcome to another episode of A Drink with the Brewster. My name is Apiwe Musani Mawela, also known as the Brewster. This month, being June, we're still celebrating Youth Month, a month where we commemorate the youth of 1976 who actually took on the streets to fight the fights of the time. Nowadays, we as the youth are fighting our own battles. Okay, they're the youth. I'm actually a year older, so I'm no longer youth. So to celebrate Youth Month, as a past chairperson of the Institute of Brewing and Distilling Africa section, we decided that we talk to young brewers and get to understand what got them into brewing, why they love brewing so much, and where do they see themselves within the brewing industry. So today we are joined by Chris Greyling from Franschhoek Beer Company. Hi,
Franschhoek
Chris.
Beer Co. Hi, Api. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Did I say Franschhoek Brewing Company? Is it beer company?
It's Franschhoek Beer Co. Yeah, beer company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Chris from Franschhoek Beer Company. Sorry about that. So I think the first thing, obviously, we're having a drink. I know it's very, very cold.
Yeah.
How's Cape Town?
It's freezing. We've got some snow on the mountains, so it's the first time seeing that. So it's really, really cold here as well.
So yeah, let's start with you. What are you having in this cold?
I'm drinking our beer. So I'm having a 3 Oaks lager.
A lager?
Yeah. So it's a lager.
You guys have so many beers there. Such great beers. My favorite being the Saison. You could have had that. You could have had your...
I have them in the fridge. So I've got the APA here as well. So I have the other ones in the fridge.
The joys of being a brewer. You're going to tell us just now why you got into brewing. I'm sure it was not for having all these beers in the fridge.
No, it's not. That's just a perk. That's a perk.
So I'm having a beer brewed by one of our ex-SAB brewmasters, Danny Orendal. He brewed at Optimum Craft Brewery. It's a pale ale that uses sorghum and cassava. So that's what I'm having. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cool. I think to start off with, then, can you tell us who Chris is? And then we're gonna talk about Chris as a brewer. So just a general who Chris is for somebody who doesn't know who Chris is, and then we talk about Chris as a brewer.
To describe myself as a person would be definitely curious in nature. Like I like to understand how things work and how stuff operates, and I like also to use my hands to make things. So yeah, but I'm also very passionate, very hardworking, very driven. I think if I put my mind to something, then I want to be the best at it. Otherwise, why am I doing it? So for me, that's very much who I am. Very passionate.
Okay, and then your journey into brewing. How did that come about? Why did you decide to enter the brewing industry?
It starts in Potchefstroom, where I used to study. I used to study geology there. So as student life is, you kind of, there's a lot of fun to be had along the way. I kind of got distracted there for a while. So then my parents decided to bring me back to Pretoria, where through one of my friend's mothers, I met Clive, which is Craig Groeneveld's brother.
Yes.
And through him, we got in contact with Eben over at My Giants. So that was the first time, my first interaction with anything craft beer wise, actually. Before then, I didn't really have much exposure except the odd Devil's Peak beer at the bar here and there. But before that, I wasn't very I didn't know a lot about beer. So for me, going to this brewery the first time, which has all these big silver tanks, and it's just like the smell of malt in the air and steam coming out everywhere, people in gumboots just working. That's definitely what piqued my interest. So I was very, very eager to start a brewing career, and luckily Eben offered me that opportunity and kind of got my foot in the door there. So that's where it all started, and from there it just kind of snowballed into. In the beginning, it's all this like the tanks and stuff, but the more you learn about brewing, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Which for me is one of the cool things, is that even as you progress to different levels of brewing, it almost just increases how cool beer is at its essence. So for me, it's absolutely mind blowing that 4 ingredients can make such a wide variety of stuff. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and then when you had met Giant, you obviously then also started your microbiology. When did you start?
Yeah, so I started that through UNISA.
Okay.
So I'm in my last year now. I just need to do the practicals, but with the whole COVID thing going on, it's quite hard. So that's probably been postponed for a year or so. But yeah, that's where I started. I also started doing the IBD diploma there, which I finished last year. So now I'm busy with the masters. Yeah.
So what started off as anyway, let me just go see what this brewing is about, has now turned into, like, now you're on your way to become a master brewer.
Yeah, definitely.
And the journey to Franschhoek?
So I used to live in Pretoria. So commuting every day back and forth to Joburg, it really does start taking its toll, especially if you have if you've got studies and stuff to do as well. So now you're 3 hours on the road, and a brewer doesn't really have hours, if I can put it that way. If a brew takes longer, there's not much you can do about that. So that just really started taking its toll, and eventually it just got too much, and I just decided to almost put that on hold a bit, the brewing career thing, and just kind of focus on the studies, finish the diploma, work on my UNISA studies a bit more. And then I think it was about 6 months later when you actually told me about that Olaf's looking for someone. Yeah. So you got me here.
You owe me.
Yeah, definitely. When you come over, I'll buy you a beer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's when I started working here. And it's been absolutely amazing. So it's really cool.
And what for somebody who got into the industry, obviously, we'll call it by chance. Apart from the stainless steel and the fact that the 4 ingredients work together so well, any other things about brewing that has really gotten you very passionate and made you actually want to obviously continue with the brewing and end up in the master brewer level?
I must say that it's something that I actually just realized this week, is that when you start being a brewer, you learn a lot of things that you never expect you would learn.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking this as an example, like it's a simple example, but driving a forklift, like I've never ever seen myself as someone that would have a forklift license.
Yeah.
And also it's smaller stuff like how to fix things. Like if the bottle filler breaks or figuring stuff out. Like I said earlier, I'm really curious. So for me, figuring out how to get a pump running again or how to fix something so it works better, even in the brewing process, every time you can tweak something to get a better end product at the end of the day. So when you're mashing, when you're in the lauter ton, you can tweak small stuff to kind of get the word clearer into the kettle. So it's really it's constant improvement, and I think that's something that keeps me there. It's that it's there's always something to be learned, and there's always something that's new. I mean, people are brewing new beers every day, and the beers just seem to get crazier and crazier at the moment. But that's one thing that's also really cool, is that it's completely new, and it's also very, very traditional at the same time.
Yeah, that means there's so much one can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your favorite style?
My favorite style of beer has to be a lager.
Okay.
It's nowhere to hide behind a lager. I think it's a true test for a brewers to brew a good lager.
Yeah, I agree.
It's it's easy to get wrong.
But the thing is, once you get it right, you that means
Yeah,
you
once you get it right, it's very rewarding as well. So
yes. Okay.
yeah.
And then in terms of the IBD training, uh, what has been your journey like when you with that, like the studying? And I know for you it was a bit difficult because you had to juggle work and just when you just started learning about brewing and everything else. How was that for you?
One thing I can like recommend is actually being a brewer while studying it. Like that for me, it's so much easier writing the exams and stuff when you actually have experience to base your studies on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see with the master level. I think it might be a bit different because there's like different types of more applied questions.
Yeah.
But for the diploma, it was really cool. Being able to work and study, and as you study, you can feel yourself improving in the brewery as well. Suddenly, like almost everything starts fitting together really nicely.
Yeah, it makes sense more.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. And then, so where do you see yourself within the beer industry?
Within the beer industry, I
What does
kind
the
of
future
really
look like?
the future of like the South African beer industry.
No, your future in the industry.
My future in the industry. Well,
Yes, where do you see yourself within the industry?
I want to finish the masters like within the
Yeah.
next 3 years. That would be one thing that I really want to do, and then just constantly improving the quality of beers that I make. I kind of want to be known for having a certain style or a certain standard of beer being produced.
Yeah.
I think I would really also like to one day have my own brewery and be able to have people come there and if they come there to have beer, they know they're having like really high quality beers. I think that's one thing is that consistently producing really high quality beers.
Okay. I wish you all the best for the future. That the future,
Thanks so much.
because they say you must speak life to your dreams, eh? So
Yeah,
you
definitely,
spoken life
definitely.
to them. No,
Yeah.
the master brewer is, from my experience, was the diploma was much easier. I won't lie to you.
Then the
The
master brewer.
MBrew, yeah, no, the diploma. The diploma was much easier compared to the MBrew.
Yeah, I've seen some of the example questions. So
Yeah, it's not the same, and that's why you not just you can't just wake up and call yourself a master brewer because
yeah, definitely.
what you have to go through is not easy at all. And
Yeah.
then with obviously because South Africa was celebrating Youth Month, so now I think one of the last few questions is I'm going to ask you is like what advice would you give to a young person who wants to get into the beer industry?
Into the brewing industry, I would say definitely start reading a lot. I mean, there's tons of resources on the internet. For me, the fact that with the IBD, the material to I think it's the general certificate and the diploma. Well, back when I did the diploma, that material is all available freely to like on the website. So that was absolutely crazy, is the fact that this like wealth of knowledge is just sitting there. And then at the same time, I would say get your foot in the door if it's home brewing, if it's working weekends at your local brewery, if it's like doing anything, if it's cleaning out the mash tun, cleaning out the lauter tun. Just get your foot in the door, start somewhere, because that'll like intrigue you more and more to get learning.
Okay. And then in terms of just general advice to youth in general. I mean, in South Africa, we have so many issues that are affecting the young people, what general advice would you give to youth in general?
So like life
Or
advice.
what advice would you give to yourself in your younger days about life in general?
I would say it's you know, like don't take everything too seriously. Like that's one
Yeah.
thing I would say. It's definitely, it's a lot less serious than it seems. It's a lot more fun than it seems as well. As soon as you can start realizing that everything happens as it should, then you kind of, and you get peace from that in a sense.
Okay.
So just take it one day at a time. Do your best every day. That'll be the advice.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I like about you is obviously the fact that you didn't give up on life in general. I mean, like you were at varsity, things didn't work out, but you found yourself in a new, different environment. But you didn't just decide, you know what, like whatever, let me just do this because my mom knows somebody who knows somebody. That you've taken it and owned the space, you know, and owned
Yeah,
and proven yourself within the beer industry. Because I think you are on the right path as a young
that's
brewer
awesome.
of that we have within the craft beer industry in South Africa. I think you the industry is in good hands.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for saying that.
So, and my advice to you would be to just keep on doing what you're doing, and like all the plans that you have are on the right path. And you know, I'm always here if you need anything. And there's many other people in the industry
Definitely, yeah,
who
yeah.
will support where they can.
No, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. So thank you for having a drink with me. That is end of our session.
That's awesome. Just thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you. That was our a drink with a Brewster. We're having a chat with Chris Greyling from Franschhoek Beer Company, just talking about life in general. So if you enjoyed our session, please tune in again next week, where we'll be talking to another young brewer, and this time around we're talking to a young lady, just to show you that there are also a lot of women, young women that are getting into the industry, and who are about to change the future of our industry. So thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.